These folks are either women-hating incels who take gear to compensate for their lack of personality, or they are men struggling to succeed somewhere, and the gym has been the only reliable area that they have found. One thing is for sure though, being a Gymcel is a constant pursuit of perfection, like Sisyphus repeatedly pushing a boulder up a hill. They chase the unattainable. They focus on their bodies, pushing their limits in a misguided attempt to destroy their insecurities while they ignore what could possibly bring them salvation. But it's not that black and white, is it? With the phrase popping up occasionally in the mid-2010s, but becoming much more common in 2018 and after, many people are asking, what is a Gymcel? And furthermore, why is there so much hate directed at them?
Do not become a Gymcel.
And this is where I noticed I was becoming a Gymcel.
Like I said, I don't think they can just be minimized down to simply gym guy, no personality. I think most men in this space are simply trying to find their place in the world that keeps saying, well, no, not like that. Jordan Peterson, David Goggins, Joe Rogan, how did these men become the role models for young and lost men, specifically Gymcels? Well, as Chris from Modern Wisdom put it,
I understand that you have a problem with the people that have just been held up as potential role models for men. Please tell me who you would suggest instead. And it took 10 seconds in front of a live audience of silence for him to say, my brother-in-law. And I was like, how about somebody that we all know?
these folks tell men they can be something, they can be more. Most men don't have anywhere to go or role models to look up to that are culturally approved.
It is really hard to find a positive image for what men could and should be. It's just, it goes back to what you said before. If women have a problem, we say, what can we do to fix society? If men have a problem, we say, what should men do to fix themselves?
Why was Ziz the spark for the aesthetics renaissance? Because of one simple phrase.
We're all gonna fucking make it, bro. That's it.
Will everyone be a millionaire CEO with tons of girls on their arm like Andrew Tate says? No. And maybe you shouldn't aim to be that way anyway. Most of the lives these Playboy manosphere grifters have are simply that, an unattainable grift that relies on way too many extrinsic elements. But can you reasonably add 10 to 20 pounds of newbie gain muscle in 1 year? Absolutely. So a young guy finds something he can consistently improve on where the only limit is his genetics and his drive. Doesn't matter who else is or isn't there, all he must do is keep going and eat well. Is it any surprise that they begin to hyperfixate after years and years of failure in so many other aspects of life? The gym is the sure thing where they themselves are the only thing to master. And as any seasoned lifter will tell you, once you can bench 225, squat 315, and deadlift 405, the ladies come running.
Are you sure about that?
What is the ratio of attention that you get from guys versus girls?
Like 90-10. In favor of men, of course. Literally.
Oh God, it's only other guys that will be impressed.
Anyone who thinks that this life is going to get you girls,
What
you
does
get
it
more
say?
men to come
What does
at
it
you.
say that like the king of the aesthetics bro era is just swimming in men?
Well, swimming in men might not be the worst thing for some people, but as I've already alluded to, the crossover of red pill and manosphere ideologies, orthorexia, and the loneliness that not only predates, but also comes directly from being a Gymcel. Well, guys, that is what we're going to be getting into today. Not just what a Gymcel is, because that's a simple Google search, but the pros and cons, and why I oddly think everyone should have a Gymcel phase. And I give what I believe are a few actionable steps to escape the Gymcel world with some examples from my early 20s, if that's something you choose to do. If this is your first time here, I make bi-weekly deep dives into fitness pop culture trends, as well as holistic bodybuilding and powerlifting content. So make sure to subscribe to hear more of that. This week's Amazon gift card giveaway, put a comment under this video telling me a story of your experience with a Gymcel, even if that was or still is you. And with all that out of the way, guys, my name is Andrew with Pride. Today we witness the rise of the Gymcel. Episode 58, everyone. Let's get into it.
We're all gonna fucking make it.
So, what is a Gymcel? Put simply, in my words, it is a crossover between the word gym, shocker, and incel. If you don't know what that is, it means someone who is involuntarily celibate. Incels are generally people who don't really have friends, play video games all day, live on the hub, no drive, no partner, they do nothing but stay home, playing games, eating Cheetos, or at least that is the caricature of them. For more info, just Google it. It's simple. What is interesting about the word Gymcel is how some carry it like a badge of honor, almost like a mark to show how serious they take fitness, right? If we look at Urban Dictionary, we see the phrase Gymcel is typically associated with a male who takes the gym way too seriously and normally has nothing to show for it. Cel is associated with the word incel, which is associated with someone who isn't able to get laid. Gymcels will often spend countless hours and weekends in the gym trying to improve their physique in the hope of attracting women when in reality, the only problem is their face. Or a more recent one, a dimwit who thinks that lifting can eventually get him a girl when in fact, what girls want is a model to your face, tall height, 6 foot plus, and decent bone structure, i.e. a good frame. And there is a little bit of truth to that. In 2009, when Brazilian model Francisco Lechowski was asked about bulking up, he said, "Why lift weights when it's all about the face?" But it is in these definitions you see the kind of backhanded nature of the word. There seems to be this self-flagellating aspect to it. The self-hatred due to things that they can't control, their face, their height. And personally, I see this, minus the hatred, as a good thing. Few people are born with everything. Height, money, face, hair, good family. Most people are not born as a Giga Chad, and those that are almost always lacking in other areas. What this sounds like so far is simply people using the gym to change the things in their control and being frustrated with the things outside of it. So what is their plan of action? Become disciplined. Improve their physique. Two things that are very important. Episode 56 is all about that, by the way. So where did the hatred for Gymcels actually come from? To understand this, you need to understand two phrases: the red pill and the black pill. Not the blue pill, you beautiful viewers. Some folks have fully passed by Morpheus and found a black pill instead. You also need to understand two disorders, well, maybe more like 2.5, depending on how you look at it: orthorexia, bigorexia, and body dysmorphia. I am going to drop a truth bomb at the end of this section that is going to tickle a lot of booties, so bear with me. The red pill, often a phrase used to signal a certain kind of woke, typically associated with more conservative values. While in theory harmless, if this Google search has anything to say, you'd think it was a terrorist organization. Lots of feminist hating and racism, but according to those in the group and the Matrix, where the reference was actually spawned from, it is a willingness to learn potentially unsettling or life-changing truths. Now, obviously, if you learned an unsettling or life-changing truth, it would change things. Remember when you learned Santa wasn't real? Allegedly. And suddenly, you became a little more lax with following the rules. You know, now that he's not watching you shower and gonna give you cola or whatever it is that he does. It's kind of like that. People who think they have learned something and believe it gives them license to act in a certain way. The black pill is similar, just a bit more fatalistic and extreme. These folks have often turned completely inward and have sworn off dating because of various issues around men's rights. Family court systems, frustration with the dating market, and of course their own looks. The caveat here is that it is generally believed by them that there is just no hope for them, like a sort of relationship nihilism. Some people know this as MGTOW, aka men going their own way. Here's the problem with that though. What happens when you start building muscle? Your testosterone goes up. What happens when you don't have a partner to, shall we say, utilize those new hormones with? Well, it is something so ironic, I wouldn't believe it if it wasn't almost a cliche at this point, but OnlyFans and other forms of pornography. Yes, when you don't have a way to relieve yourself because your death grip on your glizzy has gotten so out of control that you barely feel anything, your most likely avenue for relief is OnlyFans or porn, due to the second and third law of pornodynamics. And this is as much a meme and a joke as it is dead fucking serious. The third law, written by Mary Harrington on her Substack, states, every taboo inspires an equal and opposite porn category. What she uses as an example is the people most often angered by and doing the most to take down power structures are also the person most turned on by the sub or bottom position in BDSM. But here's a much funnier example. Fraser Glenn Miller, the former head of the KKK, who was caught in the act, shall we say, with a black trans prostitute. The second law of pornodynamics, the law of FAP entropy, states that whatever arouses you will eventually become banal. You need more intense stimulation or visuals to get the same effect. To bring this all together, if you hate women and your hormones are skyrocketing, According to these two laws, you are the most likely candidate to go give them money because of Law 3, and will have to find a very niche kink creator to scratch whatever your itch is, which will likely cost more because of Law 2.
You serious?
And anybody who's thinking, oh, increasing your testosterone wouldn't do that, I implore you, after you finish watching this, to Google trend horror stories. But I digress. The thing you can confidently say about the people who have swallowed these two pills is that they're probably angry, single, and have read the book The Rational Male, which has been sitting unread on my shelf for years, and that they don't know how to get out of this hole, don't want to, or just think it's pointless anyway. Does that sound similar to Gymcels? We got those gears turning yet, everybody? I promise it's all going to make sense, so don't take that seatbelt off quite yet. But at this point in the video, I need to have a one-on-one with you, Michael. I did not think this is where a video about Gymcels would be going, but here we are. And if your name happens to be Michael and I freaked you out a little bit, you're welcome. Make sure you subscribe. On the other side of this coin is orthorexia, defined as an obsession with healthy eating and associated restricted behaviors. However, the attempt to attain optimum health through attention to diet may lead to malnourishment, loss of relationships, and poor quality of life. Bigorexia being a body dysmorphic disorder that triggers preoccupation with the idea that your body is too small or not muscular enough. Now, as of researching this, I just learned that bigorexia is now listed in the DSM under body dysmorphia. Wild, because I remember when this was mostly just a meme on bodybuilding forums. But now for the booty tickling. I don't identify with any of these personally. Sure, back when I was coaching and training at Stimulus in Reno, Nevada, which I have a video linked above me, by the way, I was surrounded by pro bodybuilders and powerlifters, and I felt small. But that is because, by comparison, I was. I've had periods where I became disenfranchised with dating because dates kept going nowhere. I've been frustrated seeing great dads get screwed in family court, but these things, much like a Gymcel, only become bad at their extremes, where you suddenly begin to believe it gives you license to treat people like shit. But the genuine issue of mental health cannot be ignored here. People who become isolated through their own actions or otherwise will have to find a way to get a win throughout their day. And it's possible the gym is the only one they've got. And because of that, they become socially awkward, introverted, have no personality, flex on camera for strangers, hoping it moves that social needle or piques some female interest in their direction, much like this guy.
Damn.
How's your guys' day going?
How old are you?
21. How old are you?
42.
I'm
36.
But what?
But there is hope in this, and maybe an explanation too. I'm going to give you an off-topic question to consider. How do you know when you go from a boy to a man? And while you ponder that, I'm going to give you some things to think over with that. The gym is one of the last places where any man can meet, casually compete with, ask for help, and gain approval from other men they have never met. It may genuinely be the lowest barrier for guys to meet other guys.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
Past generations had rites of passage into manhood. Most cultures saw you as a woman when you either began puberty or became a mother. It was a clear-cut moment that didn't have to be decided by another person. It was evident by an event. As John Eldredge says in his book, Wild at Heart, a boy learns who he is and what he's got from a man, or in the company of men. He cannot learn it from any other place. He cannot learn it from other boys, and he cannot learn it from the world of women. Femininity can never bestow masculinity. Is it really such a stretch to say Gymcels may be making a bid toward male connection? I covered men's mental health in depth in episode 27, which I'm sad to say is even more accurate today than it was when I first recorded it, and you should check that out. But based on what I cover in there, I think you'll agree that this is a possibility. So despite all of this, the pros, the cons, the in-between, why do I still think everyone should be a Gymcel, at least for a period of time? Well, first, I want to let the community speak for themselves on this great Reddit thread. The original poster came in super negatively. What's with all the Gymcels? They spend 20 hours a week in the gym, and the closest they get to boobs is chicken breast. Just curious to get some insight into this. Isn't the whole reason you're in the gym to impress girls? It's not even like they're training for a sport or anything. They're just trying to get big to impress them. I like how he asks a question and then just answers it himself. This negative statement ironically brought out what I believe is the bright side of being a Gymcel. These were some of my favorite replies. Keep going, kings. You look huge, and I'm proud of you. I don't always do it for the ladies. Self-improvement and good health is progress in life, even if not for love. It is a shame for a man to grow old without seeing the beauty and strength of which his body is capable. That's a great Socrates quote. But chicken breasts are delicious, bro. That, I would like to say, is just an outright lie. I don't do it for the women. I do it for the fact it's the only form of mental and physical stimulation I can get. I don't know about you guys, but to me, the pros are obvious. You dedicate a significant period of your life to something positive with a measurable marker of success. Are you stronger? Better physique? Are you, for once, not letting your mind be swallowed with thoughts of what you're going to stick your Johnson into next? Or even just the simple metric of, did you stay consistent at something for a long period of time? There's also a huge life hack here that many people fail to apply in their life. And what is really amazing about it is how simple it is to do. In his book, Beyond Order, 12 More Rules for Life, Jordan Peterson states this as,
Rule 2 is imagine who you could be and then aim single-mindedly at that.
It's a variation on that, you know? Work single-mindedly on a goal and see what you become. How often do we set goals for ourselves, plural emphasized, goals, and fail at all of them? You want to get your degree. You're working a job. You have a relationship. You need time to exercise and take care of yourself. But instead what happens is you are so exhausted you fail to complete a project. So you're upset about school. You stay up at night fighting with your partner. You don't sleep that night. So you are late to work and now you can't go to the gym because you're busy applying for new jobs since you just got fired. It is so easy to trick ourselves into believing that we can be just as successful when we are spread thin. But as I say to every client, how do we learn to pack more into our daily routines? By adding one manageable thing at a time. Commit to one new thing completely until you feel ready, or in some cases are pushed to take that next step. In fact, the one female Gymcel that I could find echoed this. Quote, I broke up with my boyfriend and went deep into the Gymcel life. I guess kinda monk mode because I deleted all social media linked to my real name, went deep into reading and optimizing my body. I have a singular focus these days and it is the best I've felt in a long time. She does, however, also comment on her male lifting partner with a great physique, but as she puts it, a one in the face. And she laments at how miserable he appears, stating, my take is that people who spend an excessive amount of time in the gym, like him, tend to be as miserable as those who forego it completely. Like a fitness horseshoe theory. And I'm inclined to agree with this. Life is about balance, as they say. And this neatly brings us back to this first Reddit thread, because as much as I would like to end it there and just simply shame the original poster, there is a second half that I didn't mention yet. Quote, people who can't even hold eye contact with a girl, let alone try to flirt with her, why not spend a quarter of the time learning about how to talk to them? Where's the logic here? And they're right. I mean, if your body and strength are at or above average, and you still have nothing to take you out of the cell in Gymcel, what are you going to do? Hop on a cycle and start blasting gear? Like that's going to improve your odds? Of course that isn't the solution. But notice the qualifier in there. Spend a quarter of the time. It doesn't say uproot your whole routine and start everything new from scratch, does it? Therein lies the secret. If you have gained proficiency in the gym and you can basically manage all those areas in your sleep, take a small percentage of the remaining effort and energy you have and put it toward a weak point. Probably something socially in this case. Arnold Schwarzenegger was famous for his beliefs on weak point training.
Expose your weak points. That motivates you then. That's what makes you train harder. So you got to expose those weak points. But the key thing is to set little goals, to do the training every day, to eat the right way, and you're gonna go and hit those marks.
His rules are simple. Prioritize a lagging body part, increase workout volume, employ advanced training principles, explore more variations of movement.
Then you move the bar higher, then you move the bar higher. It is really exciting to do that, and you feel that with hard work, you can achieve the goals and you can become successful.
And Arnold also did a great job actually executing this. Look at his quads and calves when he actually started applying these principles. But that is only part of how you stop being a Gymcel. Here are the real deep and dirty parts of it. You need to do a cost-benefit analysis on yourself. Were you so aimless for such a long period of time that this is the only win in your life? Maybe it isn't so much that you need to leave it, but you need to branch out a bit. I've said it in other videos, but every good thing has a dark shadow, and every bad thing has its bright spots. A Gymcel yin-yang, if you will. If being a Gymcel got you to start exercising, great. That is the light in your dark. But if you've swallowed so many red and black pills that you're now a woman or man-hating doomer who doesn't believe in love, you hate your job, you don't have friends or much contact with your family, you have no obvious path to move forward in life.
3 hours later.
The most important thing in your life is the next flavor of pre-workout that you're going to try, then maybe just look at one area outside of what you're doing. Don't leave, just dip your toe into the normie world and collect a few life reps, so to speak. Maybe for you that looks like a meetup group to expand your hobbies, or actually talking to someone you're attracted to. Maybe you need to get rejected by that person so that you can face the reality that not everyone does or will like you, and accept that that's okay. There are literally billions of people on this planet that will never like you and that will never like me, and that's fine. Call your mom, call your dad, check up on them. Call a friend you haven't seen in years and set up a time to hang out. Realize there is a high likelihood of them flaking, and call another one and try again. Pick up a few books if you aren't ready to take action, but don't get caught in what I call literary masturbation. If it's dating, read Attached by Levine and Heller, or How to Become a 3% Man by Corey Wayne. If it's no self-worth or no direction in life, try 12 Rules for Life or Beyond Order by Jordan Peterson. You could also try Meditations by Marcus Aurelius or Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. If you worry deep down you may be a shitty excuse for a man, try Mask of Masculinity by Lewis Howes or King, Warrior, Magician, Lover by Morin Gillette. This is actually one of my favorite books ever. If you are more religiously inclined, you can try Wild at Heart by John Eldridge. I already mentioned this book earlier. If your word can be trusted about as much as Harvey Weinstein in a dark room, read Lying by Sam Harris. Or you can do the ultimate one. And you're going to hate me for this one, but we have all been at this point, and we all have to do it eventually. Pull out a piece of paper and write about the person that broke your heart. Write about them until you can't anymore. And no, I'm not reading your mind, but you need to admit that making the majority of your fitness goals about getting back at your ex and making them regret it is totally fine for a few months, but it gets really cringy beyond that. And you need to pick yourself up and move on and become the Chad or Stacy you are meant to be in and outside of the gym. Guys, thanks again for voting for this topic on my Instagram, which is @AndrewPFM, by the way, guys. I always post a poll to decide what my next episode is going to be, so if you want to vote on these episodes, you can go follow me there if you haven't. Make sure to drop your own Gymcel story in the comments for a chance to win an Amazon gift card, and if you're someone who's trying to get into shape and you feel completely lost, go to my website, pridefitness.us, and go apply for a consultation with me. With all that said, guys, my name's Andrew with Pride. See y'all later. These social fitness topics are crazy, huh? Was I fair here? Did I give it an even look from every side? I hope so. And I also hope you check out the video that is linked up at the top over here. That was the most recent episode of this podcast that you will love. Or there's this one down here. That's my most recent video to see what I've been up to lately. I'll see you there. Later.